With competition in the smartphone market on the increase, mid-range phones now find themselves being able to compete or stand their ground with flagships like the Samsung Galaxy S9 or the iPhone X. In this video, we will take a look at some of these devices and how they provide better value for money in terms of their performance and their price. Coming up, guys. Hello and welcome, guys. Jonathan here, back with another video again for your favorite channel, hopefully in time, Zubimart. And as described in the last video, we will be getting in today's video, which will be about the case for mid-range phones. Don't worry if you don't understand that terminology. We will be explaining all of that to you guys as this video goes along. So what do we mean by mid-range? Hopefully there were some diagrams in the last video that did elicit a little bit about the different variations, or at least the different levels of smartphone that you do get in the market. These phones, of course, will start from the low end right up to the high end, and of course with price matching performance. The deal is these days that mid-range phones are actually increasingly catching up with higher end flagships in terms of capabilities, but also maintaining that low price point that many of you guys are probably looking for. So this is why I believe mid-range phones are just a much better option for you guys out there. Monetarily speaking, it gives you much better value for your buck. And why do I say this, guys? Because actually all phones just come from the same place. We're talking about Shenzhen. This is a special economic zone that China designated after it sort of reoriented itself from communism to capitalism. Now this place is a tech mecca, guys. You can literally walk down the streets and build your own phone in Shenzhen. This upcoming graph will show you guys the ridiculous price points that flagship companies actually set for their phones despite having the same parts. We're looking at the iPhone X and the Samsung Galaxy S9. Now if you guys realize that these phones have the same parts, it just does not make sense, guys. So here at Zubimart, we have the basic philosophy which I've tried to instill inside Zubair. It's called the 4+64. Now, what do we mean when we say 4+64? It means that you guys should not be walking around with a phone that has 2 gigabytes of memory or RAM and like 16 gigabytes of storage. Those days are done. Those days are over. Everyone should at least be walking around with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. This is a necessity as the world becomes increasingly data hungry. The world is not getting any smaller, and neither are file sizes, guys. You're talking about image files, talking about large data packs. People are just increasingly working more on their phone, doing more on their phone. Presentations and flip charts, you name it, on their phones. As people increasingly need more space, people are doing much more on their cell phones. I've seen guys doing presentations on a cell phone, literally just plugging in a mini HDMI cable and just like boom, PowerPoint and everything. The world of mobile, as I said before, is very, very important. So with that being said, the 4+64 is a philosophy of mine that I'm trying to instill both in Zubair and everyone else who has anything to do with Zubimart. The South African retail market for me is actually quite ridiculous at this point. Still selling phones out there with 2 gigabytes or 1 gigabyte of memory is just, it's a no, guys. It's just a no-no. So with that being said, you guys can go check out the link in the description. We've got plenty of phones. Most of the phones are 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. Case being in point, my personal everyday phone, which is the Asus Zenfone 2, we will be doing an in-depth review of that. Please forgive me if the phone does look a bit shoddered and beaten up. This thing has been through war, guys, but it served me well, still operates like a gem. That phone was released quite some time back, but we will be doing another video to get more in-depth into that, its features and capabilities, and the backstory of Asus as a company for those of you who are a bit super nerdy like I am. That being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video that was brisk, informative, and worth your time. Please engage with us on our social media and leave some comments in the description below. We have left all of our social media links so you guys can hit us up. Let us know what other content and what other subjects you'd like us to cover. We will be trying to do this much more regularly. I hope to get more stuff out to you guys. With that being said, we hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you in the next one.